hello everybody, and welcome back once again to Goonies World. I am Meanie, also known as Ryan, and joining me today, as always, the eponymous Goonie, also known as Colin.
Well, hello.
And Johnny Faber, also known as Sean.
Well, hello.
You son of a bitch.
I'm copying you. He copied me.
And today, on this episode of Goonies World, we are, of course, returning to the world of Jupiter Springs, where our friends Chip, Dickie, and Plunger have just recently escaped from what they believe to be a vampire video store clerk at Valley Video, and are currently, I'm guessing, riding their bicycles away from there, but to where I do not exactly know. So might you care to enlighten me?
I will, but first of all, gentlemen, there's something that I've just realized. I'm so discombobulated. I believe that possibly that blood-sucking daywalker who is working in that video store has done something to my mind, because I now realize that we've gotten out of the video store, that the biker that we were talking to, I now realize I've seen him before. I've seen him before. Dickie, don't you remember? Search your mind. Haven't you ever seen him before?
Now that you said that, now that we're away from the video store, it feels like it's all coming back to me now, like a great fog has been lifted off of my mind.
Yeah.
And I know that we've met that guy before. He was with another man named Duke. It was Frank and Duke, and they had just broken out of prison, and they both claimed that they were Chip's dad.
Yeah, Chip, surely you remember this.
Chip,
Whoa.
Come on.
Well, really? I don't know. I don't remember. When was this? How? What? Are you serious?
Yes, and excuse me. I think that the daywalking bloodsucker has done something to cloud our minds. This is why we were,
It's got to be.
Yes, and it's possibly why you were unsuccessful in your ninja attempts to get out of the store more quickly. And
it's got to be that vampire, that soulless bloodsucker, because we should have remembered that. And also, the biker should have remembered us.
That's right.
So, he was doing something to our minds in there.
Oh, wait. You mean... Yeah. Now that is sounding... Because he would say that he wrote, like, every song that would come on the radio. He'd be like, I fucking wrote that, or whatever.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah. And we know that he must have been in Hardgate, because he mentioned knowing my uncle. And then whenever we saw him...
It's the same guy.
It's the same guy who claimed to be Chip's father. Of course, they both claimed to be Chip's father. So, Chip, you either... Now, biologically speaking, it's a little-known fact that occasionally, during a spit roast type of situation, it is possible for a woman to be doubly impregnated. It is possible. It's however unlikely, it is possible that a woman, actually two sperm, can penetrate an egg. The medical establishment would have you believe otherwise, but I've written a lengthy monograph on the subject, which I'll be happy to mimeograph and share with you. But it is possible that Chip could have two fathers, But
well, certainly there is no greater foremost authority on women's anatomy and reproduction than Plunger.
Well,
yeah.
Like I said,
I'm going to have to double check this with my mom to make sure you're accurate, Plunger.
I think your aunt would be a better person to ask for a variety of reasons, but no, I
would say that.
I've seen a variety of and I, of course, as you know, I correspond with the actress Kim Fields, who plays Tootie on The Facts of Life, and we've also discussed this at great length. So it is possible, Chip, that you have two fathers. However, it is very unlikely, and I believe that one of those gentlemen could very well be your father, because you are sort of a badass, and both of those guys were obviously badasses. So you've got some badass DNA. This is quite clear that you have ninja's DNA. Obvious to anyone.
I kind of think I look a little bit more like the Duke guy.
You think so? It's hard.
Yeah, you know, he even had a tattoo that said "Chip off the old block," and he showed it, and he had a picture of you. So he really thinks that he's your father, and there is a resemblance. I think that other guy seemed a little bit crazy to me.
Yes, and I now remember the tattoo that you mentioned. I've just been so.
Yeah, it's like we should have remembered, and then it's like we were in that store, and it was just like this deep cloud, and it's like, what's going on, you know?
Yes.
That's not normal. That vampire, you know, what did he do to us?
Oh my God! What was that documentary about? The one we're trying to, the Kronos one.
Well, having not seen it, you know, being due to the conspiracy to prevent us from seeing this documentary, I believe it's about a 16th or 17th century German vampire hunter by the name of Captain Kronos, who encounters a vampire who sucks not blood but youth, and the vampire stays young by stealing the youth of young people, and so
that's it.
Yeah, so they will become elderly.
That's why we can't remember.
Yes, because we're becoming senile like old people and losing our memory.
Yes, he's sucking the life force out of us. We're growing old.
Yes. Oh,
we're getting feeble. And I can feel it starting to happen.
Well, I kind of feel okay-ish, but I'm starting to feel like slower. Like I have to pedal slower.
No.
You look weaker.
Don't pedal slower. Okay, right? In fact, we're just going to stop right here. Let's go just for a minute. Let's go into the cul-de-sac. There's one cure for this. There's one cure for your knees. There's one cure for all of this. Let's stop here in the cul-de-sac on Garden Street, and gentlemen, let's hit the fluff. And Plunger will get into his backpack and get out the marshmallow fluff, and he's gonna put his whole hand in the marshmallow fluff, right? And just
rub this around like Bengay.
Yeah, I'm gonna rub some on my gums, you know what I mean, and suck it off to every finger and
put it on your joints.
Yeah, well, I've not tried that, but that's an interesting experiment, actually.
My hips are starting to feel a little tight, you know.
Yes, well...
No, I don't know. Do I look older? I do feel a little older.
You look a little more...
is that mustache, like, getting a little darker?
As he paints that with eyeliner. I pretend not to notice.
Well, I don't know about darker, but if the sun is glinting off of it, it could be because the hair is turning white. Silvery, and also, you know, I think I see some crow's feet on you guys' faces.
Oh no, my youthful good looks.
I just, you know, and some liver spots.
Oh no,
maybe.
Oh, this is not good.
It's not too bad yet. Hopefully, this fluff will do the trick.
Yeah, give me some of that. Give me some of that fluff.
Yeah, take some before it's gone. Take some before it's gone. I've also got the mint flavor. I've got the mint flavor also. If the regular fluff does not do the trick, the green minty fluff should help. I also have some Oreo cake balls in my backpack as well, if it comes to that. They're Oreos that are mixed with cake and then dipped in chocolate. You ever had them? They're quite good. The best balls you'll ever put in your mouths.
Chip is muted.
Well, that was on purpose because I was trying out my old man voice to see if it was going to be any good.
What's he done? Oh,
and I think I think this is how Chip's gonna talk after he eats the fluff. He said, I think it made it worse, guys.
So, Chip, oh, wait.
Yeah.
Wait. Oh, no. Oh, wait. Oh, no. I'm feeling...
it could be the fluff in my throat, but I think I'm getting older.
Yes, I think I am too. In fact, I'm losing my lisp, and I feel like I'm getting older. I wonder if I'll grow a beard like my uncle. Wait a minute, gentlemen. Wait, we have to snap out of it. Don't you see? We're falling victim to the classic self-hypnosis tricks. That's a blood-sucking daywalkers. They're trying to discombobulate. They've cast a spell upon us, obviously. Now, it just so happens that I have a cure for this that will be even better than marshmallow fluff. So, just give me one moment, and he'll dig into his backpack again, and I've taken the liberty of copying out this ancient Sumerian spell. It will require me to read a little cuneiform script, but luckily I have through many lengthy researches, I have taught myself how to read cuneiform script. I will now dispel the spell that the daywalkers have put on us. Here we go. Om Nakara Tusamake Dusrakash Dakrungshera. Now we should be fine. Is everybody feeling back to normal?
Okay. Well, I feel like I'm okay for now, but I don't know how long that's gonna last. And I think we need to get to this Mr. Kingsley's house, the one who has checked out Captain Kronos, and we need to watch that movie as soon as possible to see if there's something in there that can defeat the draining of youth. But we better hurry because we could start losing our youth again.
Yes.
Yeah, well, I mean, I do feel like significantly better, but I feel like I'm heading back downhill. So we might have to keep that spell handy.
Well, unfortunately, I can only cast it once a day. No, I'm joking. That's a George's Dragondale joke there. No, I can cast the spell as many times as I can read it, so I will keep it handy. I can only hope that I'm pronouncing it correctly, because, much like the Semitic languages, the cuneiform does not contain any vowel sounds. Therefore, I was using my own best estimates and guesses based on my extensive knowledge of ancient Mesopotamian and Sumerian culture, which, as you know, I have done many lengthy researches into in my spare time. So, but we still go to Bing Kingsley's house. I've always wanted to meet the man. He is the author of Bigfoot's Penis, a book that about cryptozoology. And Dickie, weren't you saying that you had recently met his co-author and partner in that endeavor, that Bart Garfinkel? Haven't you met this gentleman as well?
Yes. I consulted him because of his extensive Bigfoot knowledge, and I'm sorry, Plunger, but his Bigfoot knowledge exceeds even yours and mine.
Well,
and
that's true, but I have chosen to put most of my intellectual energy into the owlbear phenomenon. The Bigfoot field is fascinating, but it's just so full of amateurs and good researchers as well. But it's a very crowded field. There's like thousands and thousands of people traipsing around the Pacific Northwest with cameras, trying to get a picture of Bigfoot looking guiltily over his shoulder as he walks across a clearing, or she. And so, no, I prefer to study the owlbear, which is by far the bigger threat. So,
it could be, yes, but as I've said, I know Bigfoot is out there. I have the recording with the message I received from Bigfoot, that was just my own personal message, very near and dear to my heart. But yes, I have yet to meet the great Bing Kingsley, and that's quite remarkable that he is the one that checked out this. There must be some kind of connection.
Serendipity. Serendipity.
Yes, synchronicity or something.
So, where are we going?
We're going to Bing.
Did you get his address?
Well, we got part of his address, right? Did we get all of it?
I saw his address.
Yeah.
I didn't quite get to finish writing it down before I got chased out, but I am going to remember it as best as I can.
Well, do you remember the street? Because everything I know about Bing Kingsley leads me to believe that if we can at least find the street, then the house itself, the house itself should be fairly easy to, because I believe, based on the man's decadent lifestyle, because, he was a gonzo journalist and spent a great deal of time with celebrities. He's retired here to the Jupiter Springs area. I have read many articles he has written in Cream magazine, which my brother collects religiously. So if we at least know the street, I believe we could narrow it down to the house. We'll just listen for the sounds of Jefferson Airplane or any other such, or perhaps empty. If there's ether-soaked rags in the front yard, perhaps. Or we could always just look in a phone book, I suppose, as well.
Well, it was 5324.
Quick, here's some fluff. Take it. Just right off my finger. There's no shame in it. There you go. Okay. That was oddly disturbing. Let's never do that again. Okay. Appears we have the number and not the.
You think you could?
What's that?
Yeah. Do you have any? I mean, you have a chance to remember it if you have, something you think you can roll. Would be appropriate.
Come on, boy detective. Come on.
Boy detective, possibly. Just through, I don't know. That's the only thing I can think of that's, other than super nerd, but it's not necessarily anything nerdy. But it's indicative that he's a smart person, but not necessarily.
I think that's perfectly reasonable, that a detective would see a piece of, evidence and be able to recall it.
Yeah. And I have a 3 in that, so let's see. I don't know what I need to get, but I got...
10.
Okay. Well, I got a... Oh, well, I got 11.
Hey.
All right. Well, 5324, and thinking about it, it seems like it was Lake Point or Lakeview, something like that. Drive.
Okay.
And I'm going to go on to assume that Plunger would then be able to deduce which one it was, because I've never narrated this before, but he has talked about listening to the police scanners a lot, and I imagine that somewhere in their headquarters in the detached garage, he's probably got like a map of Jupiter Springs covered with thumbtacks, various right, sightings and weird shit, so he'd know whether there was a Lake Point or Lake Drive, or like which one would be the most likely. What do you think about that?
Well, Plunger is pretty sure that it's going to be Lakeview, and that that is a bit outside of town, kind of not all the way out in the Toloa Pines, but there actually is kind of so almost like sort of up in the hills, and there is a small lake. And there are some like rural style houses out there, fairly far apart on pretty good acreage.
That's right. It's the rural large lot zoning district where Abby lives. Yes.
Oh, Abby.
Yeah, that same neighborhood. Yes.
Well, Chip, I know you had a thing. You and Abby had a thing going.
It's before you were seduced by the dark side of the Fourth.
I mean, she doesn't even like respond to my, mail. I send her like, pen pal messages, and she doesn't even respond. I don't think she really has time for, a kid.
No, I think
She's probably got her license and like driving around with boys and stuff. Whatever.
Oh no, she's a good girl. She's maybe she has her permit.
No, he's talking about Tracy. He's talking about Tracy. And I'm sure she's not riding around in cars with boys. She's probably slumming around cemeteries and mausoleums and, getting her fingernails painted black or whatever else the vampires do these days. But that's neither here nor there, gentlemen.
Yeah, I thought you were talking about Abby. And, Abby's busy doing her math homework, probably.
Her father, in particular, her uncle, are extremely overprotective. But Abby is... I only bring her up because that large lot zoning, we know the neighborhood, and we know that we're going to have to do something that I'm not very good at, which is pedal uphill. So, we need to finish off the rest of this fluff, and I'm afraid we're going to have to get into the mint flavor, and then we really need to get moving. So, here's the mint flavor. Here we go. And then Plunger will just literally... It's disgusting to watch. He'll just almost like shovel the minty fluff into his mouth, and till there's almost none left. I'll need all my energy to
save some for me.
Unfortunately,
I don't have the mint. I mean, it kind of tastes like toothpaste, but it'll have to do.
Well, there's one way in which you're only one way, pretty much only one way in which you are superior to me, either one of you, which is that you're in much better physical shape. As you know, I'm husky, and despite my grandmother's many attempts to send me to fat camp, as you know, once I avoided fat camp, and we had a different adventure, but I've chosen to exercise my brain over the brawn. The brain is my ultimate muscle. And so I will just, it's a long ride is my point, and I need all the energy I can get. So you'll just have to.
Oh no!
I
need some fluff.
Quick!
I need some fluff.
Wait here.
Oh, no, maybe you gotta do the spell or something.
Oh, no! Here we go, and I'll do the spell
give him
again.
The fluff.
Just as soon as Chip starts having his little attack, psychosomatic or whatever it may be.
Mm-hmm.
You start, getting the fluff ready, and then you hear, "There they are! Get them!" And from down the street, like this group of 5 kids on bikes, headed by this taller, older kid that you recognize from school, but you don't really know his name, but he they're riding up the street, and he sees you guys and points, and they all start riding straight towards you.
Oh man!
Bad timing.
Terrible timing.
No.
Terrible timing.
No!
It's wearing off again.
I was
We're not gonna make it.
If only I had managed to include some attack spells in my arsenal. Quick, gentlemen! I doubt it. And now we have no more fluff to throw at them because I've eaten it all. Oh, curse my terrible appetites and my addictions. Oh no!
This group of guys quickly rides up to you and stops as you're sort of having this little meta discussion about having eaten the fluff and whatever. And the tall kid gets off his bike and puts the kickstand down and walks up to you, and he's listening to the stuff you guys are saying. And he's like, "What is going on here?"
Oh, God. Don't concern yourself with it, sonny boy. You whippersnappers. You must leave us alone.
Don't get too close. You'll lose your youth. Well, fuck it. Your youth will be sucked away. Can't you see there's something terribly, terribly wrong with us? And Plunger gave him the most googly-eyed, crazy look he possibly can.
That's likely to be fairly effective if it works. Is there something you think would make a good candidate for a role there?
Not really. No. Other than, and just so listen, I got 4 dice in encyclopedic brain, which I defined as knowing a little bit about everything and recalling obscure facts. I have 3 dice in paranormal investigator, which I defined as cryptozoology, parapsychology, and theoretical astrobiology. And intellectual bloodhound, I had 2 dice solving problems, making plans, understanding complex situations, and computer geek, building computers, programming computers, blah, blah, blah. My hook is I want to believe, I believe too much, but I'm thinking maybe intellectual bloodhound would be the only one I could really justify as in solving problems and making plans. I'm trying to make him think that we're crazy. And
yeah, I was thinking that the second one, the sort of paranormal one, sort of to try to convince him that there was like some sort of weird shit going on.
I'll take it.
The 3.
I'll take it if you're giving it, Game Master, because I would rather have 3 dice than 2. So I'll give him my craziest eyes using all my theories of parapsychology. And I will roll, and oh my god, look at that. I got a 5 and a 5 and a 5. 5, 5, 5. The neighbor, the downstairs neighbor of the beast. Or the upstairs neighbor. No, I guess he's the downstairs neighbor of the beast. I got a 5, 5, 5, 15. That's got to be good, right?
Yeah, that is quite good.
That is.
You only needed a 10.
Oh, good.
And so that is basically, a degree of success greater than you actually needed. And so, this tall kid, who hasn't even said his name, gets a really creeped out look on his face and begins to back away. And he's like, yeah, I think we should leave these guys alone. They're really freaking weird.
Yeah, that's right. And, you dumb kid. Get out of here.
Yeah, and the other kids just start shouting like, yeah, you freaking weirdos, and whatever, as they're like riding away and jeering at you.
I was weird when you were still in short pants, son. Oh,
well, that could have gone worse.
I know it could have gone worse, but we're almost out of fluff, and we just have a little bit of fluff left, only just enough for each of us to have a little taste. So I'm going to take my. Okay, feeling a little bit better. I think I'm going back normal. I don't have to rely on magic too much because you don't want to mess with the underlying structure of the universe too much. So here, take this fluff, restore your youth and energy. We must get to Kingsley's house immediately.
Yeah, give me a fluff bump.
Yes, here, take a fluff bump. Just take a bump right off my knuckle. There you go.
Okay. Oh, God, thank you.
Dickie, here, take a fluff bump.
Fluff knuck.
Yes, take a fluff knuck. All right.
Do you think Bing Kingsley has any fluff in case this happens when we're at his house?
If I know Bing Kingsley,
he's something even harder than fluff.
Yeah, probably like Hershey's chocolate syrup. He's probably just drinking that straight out of the bottle. And yeah, but if I know Bing Kingsley, if everything that I've heard about him is true, he'll at least have some fluff, at the very least.
All right, well, I guess we should get going then up the hill, or up towards the hill, and then up the hill.
Let's go, gentlemen.
All right. Well, you guys ride off in the opposite direction that the attempted bullies are riding off in. And it takes you about, a good 15 minutes of mostly uphill riding and sort of meandering through neighborhoods that are getting increasingly less and less dense and more foresty. But it's not like gravel or dirt roads or anything. It's all paved and stuff. Mm-hmm. And you get to Lakeview Drive, and you can see their large lot houses. And Lakeview, you would probably know, Plunger, from your map, is kind of a large, basically circle drive that comes in off of this feeder road, and you're not exactly sure where 5324 would be, but it's got to be one of these, and there's not a whole hell of a lot of houses on this loop, which is about a mile around, circling this small lake.
Okay.
All right. Let's hunt this house down.
Find the right house. Okay, obviously the number they're going upwards in this direction, so we must go this way. Whew. That's a long ride. Whew. Maybe I should go back to Fat Camp this year.
Basically, at 180 degrees from the spot on the on the road from where the feeder road lets you in, you find 5324. So it's basically opposite side from where you came in. And I'm curious, actually, I wasn't sure how I would describe being Kingsley's house, and I think I should leave that to you, Sean.
Well, it's mostly glass. It's all glassed in on the front. And it's at a nice A-frame type of thing. It's a nice big A-frame with all glass on the front. So it's a son of a bitch to heat and cool, quite frankly. And I think that's basically it. It's just a nice A-frame. It looks like it ought to be out in the mountains somewhere. Looks like a ski lodge almost. And, yeah. There's probably a great big deck in the back. There's probably a couple motorcycles parked out front. And I imagine that he hasn't mowed his lawn. And there's probably some, like what's the word I'm looking for? Like citations for violations of municipal codes as far as like lawn mowing and trash in the yard. They're like, plastered up on the windows and doors and things like that. And I do think there's probably like loud music booming out from the house, and a shed in the back, but like a larger shed, like almost like a detached garage, I guess. That who God only knows, what's in it, but. Yeah, and then there's probably some knocked over trash cans in the back, because I like to think that the Sasquatch is coming down here and feeding every now and then, stealing trash, So that's how I picture it anyway.
All right, well, that is what you see before you, although perhaps minus the sort of municipal citations, just because I think this is outside of the municipality specifically so that he can't get cited for
Yeah,
this.
you're probably right. He's out in the county. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and there's definitely no homeowners association either to call him out on, violations or any bullshit like that.
Oh, is it?
His neighbors just hate him.
Yeah, I just hate the HOAs. Last time I was dealt with an HOA, I was doing some coke with Paul Lind at Sandy Duncan's house, and the HOA comes knocking. But that's another story, and I'm getting my characters confused now. I'm gonna, I need to hand my Bing Kingsley voice over to the game master here. So
yeah, I'll do my best.
Just so nobody's confused, Bing Kingsley and Bart Garfinkel were both in a series that we played previously called Spirit, just in case you haven't heard it.
Yeah, if you haven't heard it, and then we enjoyed that very much, and you should listen to it. And so,
and of course, Bing Kingsley was Sean's character in that game, but I will be playing him as an NPC in this game. I will do my best impersonation of his voice, but I did want to give Sean the opportunity to describe his house, because I had no fucking idea what it might look like.
Yeah, that's how I picture it. Yeah, but you're right about them. He would have definitely purposely lived far enough out, that he could have avoided hassles from the man. I'm not trying to get hassled by the man.
So the three teen or preteen, they're kind of nebulous how old exactly they are, but the three boys are standing in front of Bing Kingsley's house.
Okay,
or
gentlemen.
what they are pretty sure is Bing Kingsley's house anyway, and there is indeed loud music coming out of it.
Yes. Okay, well, here...
Yeah, I mean, so there's like... it's all windows, right? So we could try to look in, and maybe we'll see Bing in his bathrobe,
not fully clothed, or not fully closed up bathrobe, and
I picture he probably has like a kimono style like bathrobe and tidy whities underneath that, like a gold chain with medallion, or something. But we'll find out, I guess.
Yeah, well, let's look through and see if we can
see peek through the windows
if he's home at all.
Well, you approach, and the sweet strains of White Rabbit come, are thundering out of the and almost shaking the glass. And the first thing you notice is that, for as much sort of clutter and stuff as there is, around, it's at least kind of organized-ish. But you see, you don't immediately see any people, but you do see the large stereo that is making the sound. And then you do see, a few moments later, just looking around kind of at the various... I mean, he's got there's a desk with just kind of papers strewn about it and a typewriter, and there's a couch and one of the big, large, I wouldn't say large screen, but kind of a large TV with wood grain and a pair of rabbit ears on top of it.
A huge console
with a little entertainment center next to it with a VHS player, and I would imagine being Kingsley might have a Nintendo or an Atari 2600 or something.
Yeah, he probably does.
And I'm sure a bookshelf full of books with not only his books but of course other books and whatnot, and of course a sort of shelf with stocked with VHS tapes and everything. And so you see all that, and then you see a guy and just as exactly as you described it, in sort of a Japanese kimono style bathrobe. It looks like it's definitely made of silk anyway, and he's got this kind of a hairy chest with a gold chain around his neck, like a little medallion, and his kimono is not fully closed. You can see his tidy whities underneath it, and he comes. He's got his hair is just kind of unkempt and crazy, and he's smoking something that is not immediately identifiable as tobacco and or something else. It's definitely rolled by hand, whatever it is.
Yeah, and I think he should have fluffy White Rabbit slippers.
That sounds good to me. Yeah. Fluffy White Rabbit slippers. Yeah. And he comes, so this door pushes open, and this man that comes bursting into the room with the desk with all the papers on it. And there's also, and it's got the typewriter, and there's also a phone there. He looks around and looks at the desk and looks at the phone and picks it up and begins pushing numbers. And then he looks over in your direction, but you realize it's pretty dark out here now, and it's pretty light inside. So he probably can't see you standing out there. He's probably just reflecting off of, the window, looking at himself.
Yeah, he probably is looking at himself.
Well, okay, that's him.
So listen, what's the best play here? We just tell him, hey, there's been a mix-up. It's vital. He's a paranormal investigator of sorts, anyway. I think Bart Garfinkel's really the cryptozoologist, but we just tell him we've got to see this Captain Kronos. Just play it straight with him. What do you think, Dickie?
We could go that route. We could go the intimidation route. Just immediately demand that he give us the tape, or else.
I bet he doesn't even know that he has that tape. I don't think he even knows what day it is, frankly. He might not even really know what year it is, okay? And it's highly likely he doesn't even know he has that tape. So I don't know if the intimidation approach would work.
And you see through the window as you guys are talking that Bing Kingsley has started having a conversation with somebody on the phone, apparently, as he's sort of looking at himself in the reflection of the window.
I hope
and this
he's
kind
not...
of an animated conversation at that. It doesn't look like he's angry or yelling or anything, but maybe he just is an animated guy and just likes to gesture with his hands a lot when he talks or something.
Mm-hmm. I can picture every time he gestures, the hand is holding that great big doobie or whatever it is, like ash is falling all over the place. And yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He could be in contact with the vampire from Valley Video.
Well, I never considered
this whole
that.
thing could be a setup, like the vampire wanted us to get Bing's information, and because he knew we'd come here, and we don't know about Bing. Maybe Bing has been turned. We don't know.
Listen, no one loves a conspiracy more than I do, but I think if that were true, then the vampire wouldn't have attempted to cloud our minds the way he did.
Also, I just thought of something. No vampire in his right mind would have a glass house to let all the sunlight in.
Well,
I was so dumb.
Except for an Egyptian daywalker.
Well, yes, I guess it could be an Egyptian daywalker. I mean, how many of them are there, though? I mean, well, I don't know.
Well,
but yes,
by my last calculation, there should be about 1,752 Egyptian daywalkers just in North America alone. It's a far more common phenomenon than the popular press and the government would have you believe. But I think the direct approach here is best, gentlemen. After all, if things go south, we do have Chip. We do have our ninja with us. But we better go in before we begin to rapidly age.
Yeah, well, and I was thinking, if we do, if that happens again and we don't have any fluff, I mean, maybe we can just play the sympathy angle, right? Because we could be like, oh, we have to watch this documentary to figure out how to reverse this, and maybe he would want to help
Yes.
Yeah,
we could make a plea to his, if he has any sympathy, we better hurry because I'm feeling it, coming on again. So
yes, we will. And I tell you this, if Bing Kingsley is anything like what I hear of, I think it's highly likely that he's probably partied with Caroline Munro, who stars in the film. I think it's perfectly probable that he's partied with Horst Jansen, or Lois Dane, or John Carson, or Shane Bryant, or any of the people who the Hammer film stalwarts. So it could be that he has other information that he could give us. But yes, it's time for us, I believe. Looking at my watch, gentlemen, I can see that the luminescent dial tells me it's time for us to get moving.
Well, and Bing Kingsley, by this point, has hung up the phone and is now sitting at the desk and typing furiously.
As much as I hate to interrupt the genius at work. I mean,
let's knock.
Yes. We'll have a nice loud cop knock there, Dickie.
All right, yeah. Give it a nice bang.
Well, you give the door a nice bang. And from inside you hear, "Coming!" And a few moments later, the door swings open, and with it you see this fairly wild-eyed looking man with slightly crazy hair and a kimono style bathrobe parted inappropriately far, revealing his underpants. And he looks confused for a moment, then he looks down and sees the three of you. He says, "Oh, hey kids, what are you doing here? What do you do? Do you need something?"
Help us! Help
Oh my! What? What's wrong with that one? He says, pointing at Dickie.
He needs to get fluffed up. Do you have any marshmallow fluff, sir? I realize it's not quite Halloween, but...
Well, I don't have any marshmallow fluff, but that guy looks worse than Marlon Brando. Well, that one time after the 3-night bender in Vegas.
Yes, well...
If you have some regular marshmallows, it's acceptable to mash them up and heat them up in the microwave.
Well, he looks terrible. I think you kids better come in here. Hey.
Okay, well.
So, hey, what am I just randomly saying? Hey.
Yeah, hey, come on in. Yes. Mr. Kingsley, we were actually, while Dickie is, I guess, getting some marshmallows in the kitchen or whatever. I don't know, because I don't see Bing giving too much of a shit if he runs into the kitchen.
No.
You see, we're actually here on a mission of sorts. We've been attempting to rent the documentary film Captain Kronos Vampire Hunter from Hammer Film Studios. And when we opened the box, much to our chagrin, we realized that it was Captain Kangaroo. Now, never mind Captain Kangaroo's CIA connections and his involvement in the Iran-Contra scandal and the CIA's black ops in the region, which are interesting in and of themselves. But it appears that you were the last person to rent Captain Kronos Vampire Hunter. And so, being investigators, much like yourself, who have done a little bit of investigative journalism in your day, and by the way, I have here in my backpack a copy of Bigfoot's Penis that I hope you will autograph for me, if you'll get a chance.
Well, as soon as you say that and pull it out, he grabs it and grabs a Sharpie and signs the inside cover.
Oh, good. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. And no, we just wondered if you might have inadvertently not returned Captain Kronos Vampire Hunter, or whether you have some other reason for not wanting it in circulation.
Well, I wouldn't say that I didn't want it in circulation. I just wanted to add it to my collection. I love Hammer films. Captain Kronos is great.
You love Hammer films? Have you seen Dr. Jekyll and Sister Hyde?
Well, of course. I've got that one, too. Yeah, I got... Man, and Carolyn Monroe, she's great in that. And, one time we were doing shots back in... Well, I don't need to tell you kids about that, but...
Oh, I've corresponded with Carolyn Monroe. She's a very gracious lady, believe me. She sent me an 8x10 black and white photograph, which I had hanging up on the bathroom mirror for a while until my grandmother was offended and had it removed. But
yeah, you might be a little young there for that.
That's true. Well,
Mr. Marshmallow, is this a cupboard for the marshmallows?
I don't know. They got to be in there somewhere. I'm sure I got some.
You've only got little ones. I need the large one.
Well, they probably got some Lucky Charms. You can fish the little fake marshmallows out of there.
That should do in a pinch, yes.
All right.
Put them in a blender. Surely you have a blender. Surely you've made blended drinks before, Mr. Kingsley.
I don't know if I'd put marshmallows in there and then eat them.
Yes, God knows.
You don't know what's been blended.
God knows what's been blended in there. So you're saying that you being a fan of the Hammer films, and obviously, you've seen Taste of the Blood of Dracula, Frankenstein Must Be Destroyed, and Captain Kronos Vampire Hunter, which you want to add to your collection. But you see, sir, it's vital, absolutely vital, that we see it, because we are in the grips of a battle with youth-stealing Egyptian daywalkers, and we must watch that film so that we can learn the secrets to defeating them.
Oh, is that what's wrong with your friend there?
That's right.
I'm feeling better now.
Oh, good.
Right. Yeah, everything he said is true.
That's
Need
right.
to watch that movie.
And even if you would prefer, even if you don't trust us to borrow it and take it back and watch it at our headquarters, then perhaps we could watch it here on your large console television.
Well, I wouldn't have a huge problem with that necessarily, other than it sounds like it might be an invitation to have the sheriff's department haul me out for some kind of nonsense for... Yeah, I don't know about all that, but I could probably let you borrow it.
Oh, well, that sounds excellent. Yes.
But you gotta promise to bring it back now.
Of course, we'll bring it back. Of course.
Okay, but, you do know this tape is highly sought after by some, very secretive and, dangerous people. So, if you're sure you want to hold on to it, that's fine, but someday somebody's going to come looking for it. It's not going to be us.
Well, let me tell you something, kids. You look like you know a thing or two. I think you could probably handle yourselves. I'm not too worried about it. I think if somebody comes for this tape... And he reaches up and pulls down a VHS copy of Captain Kronos. I think if someone comes looking for it, I think you'll know what to do. Yes. I think you'll be able to get it back to me in one shape. And I wouldn't have believed you when you said this was a documentary. But there's been some recent events that suggest that you might be right about that. And anyway, I wrote a whole book about meeting Bigfoot, so, what the hell?
All right.
It's all fair game as far as I'm concerned.
That's right. What the hell, or as my good friend Dickie would say, what's the HE double hockey sticks? We will...
Yes.
He hands the tape to Plunger.
Yeah, and I accept it reverently, like it's like the Holy Grail, and we'll look at it.
Just wrap it up in cloth and put it in your backpack.
Yes, quickly. I'll wrap it up. I'm going to take, how Plunger's always got the, the Karate Kid style bandana around his little white fro. He'll undo that and wrap it in the bandana and reverently place it in the backpack, in the inside zipper pocket, in the backpack, no less. Yeah. And there we go. Okay. All right, Mr. Kingsley. You don't know what this means to us, and we certainly owe you a favor, sir. If you ever need help in any of your investigations, because you're right, we do know a thing or two, and we know what we're doing.
Yes, if you need any consultants or partners, we do know a great deal. I have spoken with Bart, and so we have collaborated, and I know we know a lot about the stuff that you write, so we are happy to go in on any investigations in the future.
Well, really? Okay, well, that's good to know, because I gotta let you know something. I'm working on a new book right now.
Oh yeah.
I might have Bart's help yet. I'm not sure. I haven't working out things with the publisher and the agents and everything. But you want to know what the working title is?
Yeah, of course.
Yes.
It's called "Exposing the Owlbear."
Oh,
you know the truth. If you have information about an owlbear, sir, then we certainly must collaborate. I will have reams and reams of documents with me when I return. In fact, I hope I very well may have to borrow a truck or something and have a file cabinet brought over here. I also have some plaster casts of some owlbear tracks that you need to definitely take a look at. So we must collaborate on this in the future. You happen to be speaking to the foremost owlbear expert in the entire state of California and possibly the world.
Well, I got to say that's really convenient timing then for you to want to see this documentary. So, anyway, yeah. Well, hey, great. This worked out great for everybody. Kind of like that time that Robin Williams did a bunch of coke before going on the set of Mork and Mindy.
Oh, yes.
I was backstage with him and, what was her name? Oh,
Pam Dauber.
Yeah, Pam Dauber, that's right.
That's right. Yes,
she wasn't on my list of celebrities to read from. So.
I sure she's quite a wild child from what I hear. I'm a regular correspondent with actress Kim Fields, who plays Tootie on Facts of Life, and she told me some Pam Dauber stories that would curl your hair, sir.
Hey, just a recommendation. You got to get together with Paul Hogan. You two would really hit it off. I know it.
Oh, yeah, Crocodile Dundee. Good day, mate, and all that stuff. All right, yeah. He's a pretty cool cat.
Oh, he's the coolest.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. I don't share your fascination with Paul Hogan, but
you just don't get it.
Well, when it comes to Australian icons, I prefer Angry Anderson, and if you don't know who that is, you'll just have to find out someday.
Well, you can call me Angry Dickie, because you have insulted me, and no one is better than Crocodile Dundee.
Well, we'll keep that in mind for the future then. Mr. Kingsley, thank you so much for this. We will certainly return it after we watch it and take copious notes. And I, of course, will be making a copy of this gentleman, so don't worry about that. We'll watch it over and over.
All right, well, thanks for stopping by, and have a good night, kids.
Yes, very well.
See you later. We'll get back to work on my new book.
Yes, so definitely. Can't wait to see how that turns out. Okay.
We'll be in touch.
Yes. All right, gentlemen, let's go. Wow, what a cool guy.
Yeah.
What a cool guy.
You guys hop on your bikes, and fortunately, the journey back into town and to Plunger's grandmother's detached garage is mostly downhill coasting.
That's right.
Unlike the ride up here. So it is a relatively quick journey back to the garage, where I'm going to guess you pop some popcorn and watch the movie. And, yeah. I guess that's about it. I'm not going to narrate watching the actual movie. So I guess that'll do it for this episode. Although I did want to mention, of course, the whole suddenly remembering that we knew Frank Williams Jr.
Yeah, a little transparency
was of
here.
course due to the fact that after we recorded that episode, Goonie realized that at the end of the Hard Times at Hardgate episode or series, we actually had met Duke and Frank, which all of us apparently had forgotten, and so but it only seemed perfect because, well, of course, it was just vampiric interference with their memories. Duh,
like that kind of backwards fixing could only work in this series. Because it's just silly enough that it made perfect sense.
Yeah, and at first Ryan and I weren't really all that concerned about continuity, but Goonie convinced us that continuity was important.
An impassioned plea to make sure that we had our continuity straight.
Yeah.
Because this is a fan-oriented series anyway, so only the fans would know.
Right. In fact, this whole thing was fan service, and we got the idea for the episode from a listener. So
yes, we did.
Yeah, and I suspect that the sort of handful of people who we sort of correspond with on this that are all big fans of Jupiter Springs, at least one of them would have caught that we fucked up the bit about the kids already having met.
Yeah.
So somebody, probably one of them at least, would have caught it. So I'm glad that we were able to do a little on-air sort of
retconning.
Yeah. All right.
Well, not really retconning, because we didn't change what had happened. We just fixed our mistake.
Creative problem solving.
Solving. That's a great way to put it. So, yeah, we are ready for our winter break. So that's it for 2022. And we'll be back in January with an adventure from the land of the ice and snow, from the midnight sun, where the hot springs flow.
I can't sing.
Thanks for a good year. We'll see you next year.
Hey everybody, if you like our podcast, don't forget to leave us a good rating and or review on Apple Podcasts, Podchaser, Spotify, or wherever you're able. Subscribe to us on YouTube. Follow us on Twitter at Goonies_world, and check out our website at GooniesWorldPodcast.com. Email us at GooniesWorldPodcast@gmail.com. Thank you for listening.